Chapter 51 Moon Lion, Thunder Tree of Crucifixion. You are listening at Audio. Pietro, your intelligence work is not as good as that of the newspaper reporters. No wonder Feld wants to kill you. Barak is very angry now. From beginning to end, none of Pierrot's intelligence is qualified. Whether it is the opponent's ability or the specific number of people, there are serious differences from the actual situation. Kate is not old and is not an adult fur tribe, but this fur tribe is domineering. He can fight him on equal terms, and now he has opened the form of Moon Lion. Fear comes from the unknown, but understanding may not break the fear, and may even breed deeper despair. Barak understands the fur tribe, so he said that their organs are very rare. Correspondingly, he also knows how terrible the fur tribe in this form is. It is said that it is the true posture of the fur tribe, but it is limited by the body and can only be displayed under the full moon. Once this form is opened, the fur tribe's strength, speed, endurance, lightning power, and everything related to the battle will undergo a qualitative change. This form is also very dangerous. If it is not controlled well, this frenzied power will make the fur tribe crazy and finally die of exhaustion. Barak really hopes that Kate will lose control, but the other party's current actions have shown that she has already mastered this form perfectly. The Hex Heart plays a big role in being able to master the Moon Lion skillfully. This heart can make Kate calmer in battle, which also means that the probability of losing control is infinitely close to zero. You come to collect intelligence. Can you think that the fur tribe can use this during non-full moon time? Pietro was very unconvinced. Although his intelligence collection work was very bad, the Moon Lion was obviously a special case. So, you people are destined to be abandoned by the times. This is the change brought by technology. The full moon is nothing more than a special time point, so it takes some energy to complete the environmental simulation naturally. The props Kate launched before were the help for her transformation into the Moon Lion. Moonlight is not a metaphysical power. It just reflects the stored star light, and the moon does not reflect light like a mirror, but scatters part of the sunlight shining on the surface back into space. Create a device that can absorb sunlight, and then release it in a ratio that simulates the full moon day. This is why Kate can transform under an unnatural full moon. The specific ratio is not calculated, but the result of trying it out bit by bit in the simplest way, compared with using drugs to stimulate body cells to forcibly enter the state of Moon Lion. The artificial full moon environment eliminates the side effects of drugs. Of course, Orlan did not give them a popular science lesson. He was not interested in answering the enemy's doubts. Pierre and his friends did not understand the specific meaning of environmental simulation, but these people did not delve into it. Anyway, for them, even if they understood the principle, they could not change the result. Compared to that, Pierre was more curious about another question now. Sidilir, why did you do this? What good is it for you? What's the use of bringing more changes to those at the bottom? Whether it is fame or benefits, those pig-like guys can't give you. Pierre's solution was to kill Orlan, but he still wanted to get an answer in person. After all, he couldn't understand Orlan's thinking. Do I need your consent for what I do? Do you ask the wishes of the person being killed when you do things on weekdays? It's only a matter of time before you are retaliated against for what you did. The leader of the killer group shouldn't say such childish words. This makes me think much less of you. How dare you, a guy who can only hide behind a woman, say this? If you have the guts, come and fight me yourself. The situation is getting very dangerous now. It seems difficult to destroy the ship. If you can't do that, you have to try to kill Oran. This is Pietro's most basic idea, but he tried several times in a row and couldn't break through Frankenstein's defense. You are not worthy. Besides, fighting is not necessarily about relying on the body, but also on the brain. Pietro's words couldn't cause any psychological fluctuations in Oran. This kind of provocation couldn't even fool a 3-year-old child in Zon. He pointed to the position of the brain casually, and Oran's eyes were filled with contempt. Bang! Boom! Pietro didn't have time to say anything else. Frankenstein's hammer hit him again. Pierre held up his sickle with both hands and barely resisted the hammer, but his arms were numb from the overflowing current. Even with the barrier of domineering, his body tissues were also greatly injured under the high-intensity current, and Frankenstein seemed to have misunderstood some of Orlan's words. She literally interpreted how to fight with the brain, suppressing Pierre with the hammer while jumping high and hitting him with a head hammer. The most fatal thing is that Frankenstein has horns. Even if Pierre tried his best to dodge, he was still hit on the shoulder. He didn't have the ability to cover his whole body with domineering. The remaining domineering was condensed in his hands and weapons to resist Frankenstein's hammer. Blood arrows flew up, and Pierre's left arm's shoulder blade was pierced, and the splashing blood sprayed on Frankenstein's face. The night made her face more crazy. Asshole. The long-handled sickle becomes difficult to use when being approached, not to mention that Pierre's left arm is no longer able to exert force. Looking at Frankenstein's head piercing his body, Pierre did not retreat, but used his body size to limit the opponent's movement against the electric current released by the opponent, and then held the sickle near his head with his right hand and swung it vigorously. As long as Frankenstein evades, Orlan will be within the attack range, and then he will have a new opportunity. However, Frankenstein's actions once again surprised Pierre. She did not make any attempt to evade, and let the sickle pierce her heart. Are you crazy? What did that guy give you? To make you fight for him like this? In Pierre's view, piercing the heart is a dead end, but Frankenstein's actions did not stop at all. Not a drop of blood flowed out of the wound, but Frankenstein's joints cracked directly, revealing the special cable-like structure inside, which was extended and wrapped around Pierre Crosby, completely fixing him. The war hammer in Frankenstein's other hand also cracked a little at this moment. As the hammer head rotated, lightning began to take root and sprout with Frankenstein as the center, and grew into a fire tree and silver flower composed of lightning. Stop! You will disappear too, you monster! Thunder Tree of Crucifixion. Frankenstein's movements did not stop at all, and the violent electric current destroyed everything. When the lightning dissipated, Pierre Crosby had disappeared. Only the black residue on the ground and the broken sickle left on Frankenstein's chest proved that there was once a killer here. Checkmate. At the same time, Kate's claws also pinched a bald head. Her priority target was not Barack, but his deputy, the one who had the ability of the chess fruit. They were not too stupid and tried to destroy the artificial moon to terminate Kate's moon lion form. But the height made them helpless. In order to prevent the chess clone from interfering with the artificial full moon or affecting Orlan, he became Kate's first prey. The steel clone was like tofu in Kate's hands. It was torn into pieces by the high-temperature electric claw blade in an instant, so that his original body had not reacted to what happened before Kate had already killed him. Now it's your turn, dog. I'm Barack the Coyote. Not some dog. It doesn't matter, it's all the same. When this sentence reached Barack's ears, Kate had come behind him. Barack slowly lowered his head and looked at the hollow in his chest with disbelief on his face. My heart. Is this what it looks like? Barack turned around stiffly, and when he saw the still beating heart in Kate's hand, his body suddenly softened and he fell powerlessly on the deck. Chapter 52. Your report was timely, just after I fully understood the situation. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The siege of Olin by the leaders of Ota Funeral Home and the organ trafficking assassination group has been broken, but the fighting on the ship has not stopped yet. At present, the other killers do not know how far the battle situation here has progressed, and they are still executing orders according to the plan. Frankenstein pulled out the side that was still stuck in his chest. Then, under the energy conversion of the stored fruit, the damaged mechanical wound began to recover at a speed visible to the naked eye, and it didn't take long for him to recover, except for the blood on his face that was dry and black due to lightning and the damaged clothes. Frankenstein had few battle scars left on his body. Father, it's all settled. Well done, but Fran, fighting with your head does not mean a headbutt. You misunderstood this sentence a bit. Didn't it turn out great? Frankenstein stood in front of Oran with his hands behind his back and his head tilted. If he hadn't seen the previous battle scene, no one could imagine how much violent power was hidden in her body. It's just that Frankenstein doesn't think there's anything wrong with him, and even thinks this is a good tactic. Neither her head nor her chest are fatal injuries to her. As long as the core in the war hammer is not damaged, even if she only has one screw left, she can repair herself through energy conversion. Frankenstein could even take his own head off and use it as a toy if he wanted to. In a sense, Frankenstein was really fighting with her mind. She took advantage of Picro's blind spot in intelligence to deceive the other party, and used a seemingly weird suicide attack to deceive Picro. Reached an unavoidable position, but judging from Frankenstein's expression, she definitely didn't think of that step. She simply relied on her body's fighting instinct to make the choice that was most beneficial to the situation at the time. It's not that you're not doing well, it's just that you still have some things to learn. You've made a lot of progress now. Olan. Everything has been taken care of. I checked the area carefully. There are no other killers hiding. Kate climbed up from the railing on the side. The stairs next to her had been shattered by Frankenstein's thunder tree. If the circuit on the ship hadn't been strengthened, the power would have been cut off again. At this time, Kate has not yet released the Moon Lion transformation. As long as Oran needs it, she can rejoin the battlefield at any time. The most difficult guy has been dealt with. The remaining ones can't make any trouble. It's almost time to end. Buzzilla. Ahem, this is Vegapunk. Killers on the ship, please pay attention. Your leader is dead now. No matter what your purpose is, I personally recommend that you run away now. There was a burst of noise from the loudspeaker on the ship, and Vegapunk's voice rang out at the right time. Relatively speaking, Vegapunk was the most leisurely person in the battle, basically just shooting from a distance and commanding the cannon on the ship. Group, after confirming the death of the killer leader through the receiver on the deck, in order to end this meaningless battle as soon as possible, Vegapunk used the broadcast to put some pressure on the remaining people. After the leader was killed and the grassroots combat power was nearly collapsed by the endless technological weapons, the battle quickly came to an end. Especially when the remaining killers found out that they really couldn't contact their boss, they immediately began to collapse. Do what you want, Kate. Fran is still here. You don't have to worry about my safety. Kate had an obsession with chasing down the evil gang, but she was worried that there were still remaining killers, so she never left. Only after Olan repeatedly expressed that she could do what she wanted to do, she started to hunt down those fleeing killers. Oran started recycling the artificial full moon in the sky, but at this time, a phone call came in. Sidilir, my men have solved one of Picro's strongholds. According to the feedback, that Picro guy seems to be desperate and intends to intercept and kill you before you reach Evil Island. Mr. Feld, this is very timely news. You just informed me shortly after I had killed Picro. The expression of the phone bug in Olan's hand became dull. The phone bug is a creature that can imitate the expression of the user on the other side. It can be seen that Du Felder can't accept it at this time. You sure? Of course, but I don't have much evidence for you. After all, that guy has become a scumbag. Oh, there is also a person from the organ trafficking and assassination group here. He seems to be a hyena fruit user. His body is quite intact. That's that guy. Well done, Sidilir. Let's not talk about it for now. Let's talk about it later. Du Felder hung up the phone a little impatiently. Whether the head of an organization is alive or not has a great impact. This is especially true for organizations in this sea. Once the news of Picro's death spreads, people in the underground world will gather around like sharks that smell blood. Now Feld wants to get the most benefit before others know about it. At dawn, except for the broken ships, there was no trace of the killer group around. It was still unknown how many people escaped in the chaotic night. Most of the people in MADS were unaffected, except for a certain man named Caesar, who was the most seriously injured person in the raid. Ordinary small-time killers are not domineering, but after all, the Big Hand Funeral Object is an organization active in the New World. There are still many domineering people in the headquarters. When they realized that there was a natural ability user here, they naturally came over. If it weren't for the fact that gas was a flying gas with a strong ability to escape, Caesar could have been buried earlier. Perhaps this was retribution from the dark. After the biggest obstacle was removed, everything went quite smoothly. Being nominated for the IBL award was equivalent to entering the finals, and among the same type, Orlan and his team did not encounter any opponents. As planned, they successfully won the award, and they won not 2 awards, but 3. In addition to the individual awards for Orlan and Vegapunk, MADS also won a group award, not only because 2 outstanding talents appeared in this organization, but also because of Pircro's efforts. He failed to encircle Orlan and finally gave away his head. In the end, MADS gained the reputation of destroying terrorist organizations. Just after the award ceremony ended, a team of people in black suits followed. Dr. Sidilir, Dr. Vegapunk, please wait a moment. The leader straightened his clothes and then took out an envelope with the world government cross printed on it. This is the order of the 5 elders. If you can successfully win the award, we will give you the letter. Please take a look at the contents. Chapter 53. Why is there a hole in the wall of your holy place? You are listening at NovelFull.audio. The content of the letter was very official, and the general idea was that Oran and Vegapunk had made outstanding contributions in the fields of medicine and peace. The world government praised their behavior very much, so they were specially allowed to come to the Holy Land. Do you know what's inside? After reading the contents of the letter with Vegapunk, Oran's attention returned to the officials of the world government. He wanted to know whether these officials were pure messengers or came with certain purposes. I don't know. We are not qualified to read the content of the letter. The instruction we received is to follow your arrangements after the letter is delivered. My name is Spangdyne. Is there anything else you want us to do in the letter? The official leading the team is Spandam, the father of Spandam in the original timeline, who had a power level of only 9 and whose martial arts level was not as good as that of an ordinary soldier. Compared to that good-for-nothing son, Spangdyne is much better at doing things, and has a closer relationship with the official system of the world government, so he now has the ability to lead a team to perform tasks. Spangdyne's tone was very respectful. This was not the first time that the IBL prize was awarded. Those previous winners did not arouse the interest of the 5 old stars. He was here to deliver messages, not to arrest people. Spangdyne would not be idle to arouse the disgust of people who might be employed by the government. As for the content of the letter, Spangdyne really didn't know. The operation of Wulooxing was more of a formal project, mainly to show that the world government also valued peace. Only Sartan has a slight interest in Oran and the others, but it has not yet developed to the point where he must control them. To be more precise, the world government never cared about such things. Except for things related to the 100 years of blankness, most things were not threatening to them. This time it was more about seeing the attitude of the 2 of them. Punk, what do you think? Let's go and have a look. I'm also quite curious about what it looks like on the Red Earth continent. Where is you? I don't have any objection, just do it this way. The groups of the 5 old stars and the celestial dragons are bound. As a member of the celestial dragons and the supreme ruler second only to him in the world government, the position of the 5 old stars is naturally hostile to Oran. According to Oran's plan, hostility is only a matter of time. Pircro's death has already illustrated the importance of intelligence. To defeat a powerful enemy, you must first understand him. Not only details such as abilities, personality, and behavior can affect subsequent events. We still need to make some preparations, and we will set off with you later. Our ship is at the port and ready to depart at any time. The 2 doctors can prepare slowly. After looking at the content described in the letter, Spangdyne didn't waste any time and returned to the ship with his men. The location of IBL Island is not far from Mariajoya, and there are special currents nearby. It won't take long to reach it. There. Olan, do you really want to go to Mariaja? That place. Don't worry, it's just a normal meeting. If they really find something, even if they are not the Admiral and the Knights of God, they will have to be the elite of CP0. Then I'll go with you. No, you can't go, and neither can Fran. It's just me and Punk who are going this time. This way, even if there is really a big trouble, I can get away. It was said to be preparation, but in fact it was more about arranging what the remaining members of MADS should do in the past few days. Due to previous experiences, Kate hated that place. Don't worry, we will go there again sooner or later, in a completely different way. This time we are just exploring the path. Mariajoya is a place that seems outrageous to Oran. You can say that its defenses are lax. It is located on the Red Earth continent. It is defended by the Navy headquarters and the G1 branch at the front and rear. There are a large number of elites inside. It can be said that it is a place with an iron wall. You said that place was well defended. Tiger could set a fire and escape with a group of slaves, and Sabo could escape with Cobra in front of him and the 5 old stars. Although Cobra died in the end, it is not easy for a disabled old man to do this. Just wait here. By the way, pay more attention to the egg in the breeding room. It will probably hatch soon. After Oran and Vegapunk explained the matter here, they followed Spangdine's ship to Mariajoya. The journey was very peaceful, and the flag of the world government was still very intimidating. Most people would not touch this bad luck. With the help of special sea current acceleration, the ship quickly arrived at the Shampoo Islands. After taking a short rest here, they headed to the direction of Red Harbor, a special port located under the Red Earth continent. The Red Earth continent is 10,000 meters high, and the way to the top is a special bubble elevator. These bubbles come from the Yarkman mangroves in the Shampoo Islands. Within their growth range, the bubbles have strong buoyancy and unique carrying capacity. Thus the special bubble technology was born. It's such a convenient technology, but it's a pity that it can only be used around here. The mangroves of Alcamanthus have too high requirements on the climate. If such trees can be planted in various sea areas, the bubble technology will definitely bring a lot of convenience to people. As the bubble elevator rises, Oran and Vegapunk have passed through the clouds, and Vegapunk is also thinking about the application of new technologies. Yes. Olan, take a look at this. If this is the case. Vegapunk suddenly picked up a notebook and started calculating. With a burst of inspiration, he seemed to have thought of some new ideas for invention. The limitations are still too great. Compared with the bubbles here, I think the application of Sky Island shellfish is wider, and it should be much easier to raise that kind of shellfish. Bang! When the two were discussing new research and development directions, a snap sound rang out, and the vast land of the Red Earth continent had appeared in their sight. Led by a team of knights in heavy armor, they quickly came to a room in the palace. Please wait here for a moment, both of you. If you have anything, just ring this bell. After the waiter finished speaking, he left the room, leaving only Orlan and Vegapunk in the empty room. These people really know how to enjoy themselves. If the things in this room are exchanged for funds, it should be enough for us to use for a while. This is the office hall of the world government, where the officials of the world government are active. The address of the World Conference is held here. Relatively speaking, most celestial dragons will not appear in this political place, but live in the land of the gods behind, but this is also the face of the world government, and everything used costs a lot of money. The heavenly gold delivered by the member countries is divided into 2 parts. In addition to the huge amount of money used to pay for the celestial dragons, the remaining part is used for the daily maintenance of the world government. These dead things consume a lot of money, but when Vegapunk lamented the extravagance here, Orlan found something different. Punk, look here, is there a hole in the wall? Chapter 54 5 Elders, Small Goals for the Future. You are listening at novelfull.audio. No way. Why is there a hole in the wall here? Vegapunk's first thought was that it was impossible. This was Mariajoya or the reception room. How could such an obvious hole be left? But when he walked to Oran's side, the inconspicuous dent but it became extremely dazzling. It really does. The room is full of all kinds of luxurious decorations, and the space is huge. Such a small hole is not obvious, but it is difficult to understand. Perhaps no one dares to say it. It's none of my business. After all, nothing will happen if I don't say it. It's not certain what the consequences will be if I say it. The Tianlong people are always moody towards people outside their ethnic group. This is a holy land. It's a good thing that no one finds out. Once this thing is reported, the people above may be held accountable. The celestial dragons do not need a reason to kill people. If they laugh too loudly, they will feel noisy. If they laugh too softly, they will feel boring. Breaking the wall is simply a crime that can implicate their family members. In this case, no one wants to say it. Oran thinks it is reasonable. There can even be a hole in the wall between the thrones, and it allows Wapol to overhear the highest level conversation. So there is a hole in the wall of the reception room. There is nothing strange about a hole. The holes in the wall were not within the scope of Oran and Vegapunk's research. The reception room was indeed richly decorated, but in Oran's opinion it was nothing more than that. Not long after, the door to the room was opened again, and two guards wearing heavy armor walked in. They are the guards of Mary Joa. They do not obey the orders of the Navy and belong directly to the world government. They mainly operate on the Red Earth continent. Two doctors, I've been waiting for a long time. Please come with me. Under their leadership, Oran and Vegapunk walked through a long corridor. The person who led them was also changed to a marine. Judging from the military rank on his shoulders, he was still a major general. After all, according to the rules of the 5 old stars, people below the rank of major general are not allowed to look directly at them. Everywhere in this city reflects class differences. The worldview that has been solidified over the years also makes people here feel that they can see the 5 old stars. Old Star is a pleasure for Oran and Vegapunk. You too, I can only take you here. The rest of the way is up to you to move forward on your own. In front of a new door, the Major General took 2 steps back and gave way to the passage in front. The towering ceiling is inlaid with exquisite golden reliefs, and the sunlight shines through the huge crystal chandelier, forming dappled light and shadow. On the surrounding walls, there are huge oil paintings depicting the country's history and culture. In addition, there are heraldic paintings of different shapes. A total of 19 different family symbols symbolize the respective families of the Tianlong people. In the center of the hall, the 5 old stars representing the highest power are already waiting here. Vegapunk, Sidilir Oran, in recognition of your outstanding contributions to the peace of the sea, you have been given the right to meet us. The man in white robes, with a bald head, wearing glasses, and holding a knife in his hand was the first to speak. The financial god of war, Venus, Izanbalan V. Nashuro, usually controls the financial situation of the world government, and he also allocates the Ibel prize bonus. Some talents can occasionally appear in the turbulent sea. I hope you won't disappoint. With blonde hair and a golden beard, the seemingly youngest of the 5 old stars followed closely and added that he is the god of agriculture, Jupiter, and Shepherd 10 Pit. Some of your research is on the edge of the law. If you cross that red line, even if you are geniuses, the result will be the same. Wu Lao Xing, who has a splayed beard and a birthmark on his forehead, carries some threatening meaning in his words. He is responsible for legal issues. As the name suggests, he is the legal martial god, Mercury, Topman Wuchu. Prophet. There is no need to be nervous. I just heard that you have a good relationship with Kloba of O'Hara, so I would like to remind you that the one who is most interested in you too is actually this one. The 5 old stars with long white hair and long beards explained the reason after Vocheli's threat. They were the environmental martial gods, Mars, and Marcus Maz. After saying this, the 4 of them the person left the room. These 4 people appear here more to give face to their colleagues. That is the last remaining 5 old stars, wearing a flat hat. He has white curly hair, a fluffy white beard, and a deep scar on his face. The god of scientific defense, Saturn, Jago Lucia Satan, a person who is most interested in the results of scientific research. I am very optimistic about the potential of you two. Compared with those past winners, your level is more pragmatic, but it is not enough. I am also a scientist, and I understand how much money research requires. Show your potential. Your talents may qualify you to serve the government in the future. Satan's purpose was simple, to warn them not to study anything prohibited by the government, to encourage them, and to give them ideas that could include them. In Sartan's view, being absorbed by the world government is a very happy thing. This is the inherent thinking he has developed as a celestial dragon. Apart from that, Sartan did not say much. It's a waste of time and nothing of value has been gained. Although Sartan said in front of Vegapunk and Oran that he was also a scientist, he did not show any ability. He simply drew a pie for them, and did not consider whether the other party wanted to eat the pie. Nowadays, Vegapunk wishes that someone could replace him when he eats and drinks. This meaningless trip seems to him to be a waste of time. At this time, they were already on the way back, and Oran even checked whether there were any eavesdropping devices in the room. But the funds. If there is sufficient funds provided by the government, then research will indeed be more convenient. Yeah, researching this thing is really expensive. I think it's quite ironic. Ironic? Nothing, just a little personal feeling. The ability of the god of science is a spider that uses poison, the god of law is a wild boar that does not follow the rules and rushes around, the god of environment is a strange bird that only appears with the plague, the god of wealth is a bone horse without any flesh and blood, and the god of agriculture is a sandworm that can burrow into the ground. The abilities of the 5 people match their duties, which seems a little ironic to Oran, but this is just what he thinks in his heart and he didn't say it out loud. Well, I think as the research progresses, it will sooner or later attract more attention from the government. When that time comes, it seems that being recruited would not be a bad idea. Then we may be able to study greater things together. I don't have such plans. The funding of the world government is good, but I don't want to be restricted everywhere. But the funding. No one should be richer than the world government at present. You are right, but there is more than one way. There is a saying in my hometown. If you want to get an official position, you have to kill people and set fires to be recruited. Killing and setting fires. It's just a modifier. If it is put into practice, it is my personal problem. Olan has his own plan and needs the support of the world government. He doesn't want to be restricted everywhere under the eyes of the world government. Then there is only one position that best meets Oran's needs. The plan that the world government has not yet proposed is the special seat in the original timeline, the 7 warlords of the sea. Chapter 55, My Daughter. You are listening at NovelFull.audio. Under the Shichibukai, a new system introduced by the world government in order to balance the situation of the sea in response to the increasing number of pirates. In layman's terms, it is legal pirates. It has legal rights to plunder within a certain area, but will not be wanted by the Navy, and its members may not all be pirates. Some members have reached an agreement with the world government for special reasons, such as Hawkeye, a Navy hunter. Unlike the scientific research troops, they have always lived under the nose of the world government, but they also have certain connections with the world government and can take advantage of funds, given the right opportunity. That position is Oran's target, but that's not the case now. There's not even a shadow of that system now, and all Olan can do is make preparations. After all, King Shichibukai has requirements for force. At least your reputation must be enough to deter most people. If you are very weak, but you can make others think you are strong, and you can gather a group of people with good martial arts around you, it is okay. There is still plenty of time for Olan now, and he has enough energy to prepare. October 1489 in the Hyuan calendar, 2 years after Olan and Vegapunk won the Ibel Prize. During these 2 years, the main direction of MADS research has been invested in blood factors. After 2 years of hard work, they finally achieved a staged breakthrough and mastered. Here comes the mystery of the blood factor. Olan, are you sure you want to do this? There are many things here that are the result of your hard work. Without you, I would not have been able to complete this research so quickly. I'm sure that this fame and fortune is not what I want. On the contrary, it will bring me a lot of trouble. It's better for me to trouble you to take care of the trouble caused by these false fame. Unlike Caesar and the others who wanted to compete for results and show their importance in the research of blood factors, Oran instead lost all the key results to Vegapunk. I understand. If you need it, I can make a public statement at any time and return your research results to you. Vegapunk would not embezzle research results, and it seems that he wants to establish evidence. No need to go to such trouble, I believe you, but Punk, I have to remind you, don't trust the people around you too much. The news of the successful blood factor research was exposed before you announced it. Maybe it was someone from Feld, maybe there was a government agent on the ship, or maybe it was even Caesar. There are some things that only you know. The results of the bloodline factor were exposed relatively suddenly this time. If only Olin and Vegapunk knew some of the core results, they might be in more trouble now. It was also thanks to the incomplete information that was leaked that the world government believed that Vegapunk was the main researcher of the blood factor, so it launched a forced recruitment of him, while others did not pay much attention to it. Oran's most critical research project has not yet been exposed. Its reputation outside is mainly related to medical-related inventions, and it is currently taken slightly less seriously than Vegapunk. This is the condition of the world government. I will be in charge of the Punk Has-Sad Institute from now on. Do you want to help me? No, we have been getting along quite happily in the past few years, but it's time for us to say goodbye. When I finish what I'm doing, we will meet again. Vegapunk didn't say anything more and turned back to his laboratory. Oran also started to pack his things. There were already several large boxes behind Blitzcrank, which contained the results of recent cultivation. Frankenstein was holding an earth-yellow giant egg. Olan's previous prediction had made some mistakes. The egg still had not reached the conditions for hatching and had stayed before the critical point of breaking the shell. Dad, are we leaving? Kate held the arm of a little girl with pink hair. At this time, the little girl spoke in complete sentences intermittently. She also carried a package behind her. This was not bullying child labor, but she took the initiative to do so. Children often like to hold something by themselves and want to prove something. This is not difficult for her. Although she is only 3 years old this year, her physical fitness has surpassed that of ordinary adults. That's right, we're going to live somewhere else, Riley. Sidrio Liliana, one of Oran's greatest achievements in MADS, was a clone from the DNA of Charlotte Lingling. At present, Oran regards her as his biological daughter, and this is the same caliber to the outside world. Shortly after Olin and Vegapunk returned from Mary Joa, the human cloning experimental projects were successively successful. Barkin had already left with Whitebeard's clone, the son she called Edward Weibel. On board, now the one on the ship who looks similar to her is just her clone Stussy. Olin, there is a special situation. There is a mutation in the fruits that Fran is responsible for taking care of. Look at this. Kate took out a bunch of silver grapes from her bag. There were bunches of circular patterns on it. There was no doubt that it had transformed from an ordinary honey fruit into a devil fruit. There is no record of it in the illustrated book we have. What do you think we should do with it? Put it away first. This thing will come in handy sooner or later. Devil fruits will regenerate randomly in a corner of the world after the death of the Esper. Any ordinary fruit has the possibility of turning into a devil fruit. The mutation of the honey fruit is rather strange, but not unexpected. This is the supplies we have collected. Oran, please take a look and see if there is anything missing. Kate handed Olin a list. When Olin was checking the list, the door next to him was suddenly pushed open. Olin. Come with me, the two of us will definitely do great things. With your help, Germa will definitely become the #1 in the world. That the disbandment of MADS is a foregone conclusion, but the core members basically have their own ideas. With the technology of blood factor, Gaji feels that he will be able to restore the glory of the country, but after several years of research together, even if he was a little dissatisfied, he was aware of Olin's own abilities. If the other party was willing to help him. Olin. Come with me, the two of us will definitely do something great. With your help, Gaji. Before Oran could give Gaji a reply, time seemed to go back. The exact same voice came from outside the door, except that the speaker became Quinn. He also had the same idea, but Quinn planned to become a pirate. Only then could he let go and study without any scruples. For future actions, he even wanted to drag Oran into the water with him. When both Gaji and Quinn wanted Laolon to join their team, a man in the corner showed a sinister smile, as if he had achieved some purpose. Go, you just go. If you guys all leave, I will be the well-deserved second-in-command in this organization, blah, blah, blah. Chapter 56 What to do if this god of wealth is a bit good at fighting. You are listening at novelfull.audio. What to do if you can't beat one person? The answer is to persevere. As long as you persist long enough and make the opponent lose to time, then you will naturally be the winner. Unlike Orlan and the others who each have their own ideas, Caesar has planned to be incorporated into the world government along with Vegapunk. All the other core members of the organization have left, so he can naturally take the position. Moreover, Caesar and Vegapunk have a common understanding that the world government is very rich and is the richest organization on the sea, so he can further embezzle. No, it is to use funds. As for whether Vegapunk will ignore him because he has surpassed him too much, Caesar has never thought about it. Caesar has a mysterious confidence in himself. He firmly believes that his research has not achieved much results because Orlan and Vegapunk do not support him enough eating, drinking, whoring and gambling. That's because there is not enough funding. If there is enough, there must be some left after he consumes it. At this time, he firmly believes that there must be someone in the world government who appreciates his talent, so he is eager for more people to leave. Judge and Quinn's ideas were much simpler. They had seen Orlan's ability. Since Orlan didn't want to be directly recruited like Vegapunk, he should try to trick him into joining. Unfortunately, our ideas are different. Neither reviving the country nor becoming a pirate is in my plan. If you are willing to be my experimental assistant, I don't mind you two following me. How about it? Does anyone want to join? That although Quinn and Judge both wanted Orlan to join, they also had a fixed idea, that is, they should be the boss. Even if they were not the boss of a force, they should have the leading power over the research. Orlan's words also rejected them. Several people with different ideas left here. Except for a few ordinary experimental personnel on the ship who withdrew, most of them were recruited with Vegapunk. Compared with MADS, an illegal research organization, the World Government's Research Institute represents a brighter future in the eyes of most people. After all, it is an official identity. The people of the world government quickly took over everything about MADS and reported the news to the five elders. Satan didn't care about Oran's departure. It was enough that Vegapunk, the main researcher, was recruited. Compared with the current changes in the sea, Oran alone could not affect the situation. At least in Satan's view, he did not lack such an excellent doctor, but some people were very excited. Hey, my dear brother Oran, I've been waiting for you for a long time. In the first half of the Grand Line, Daudu Island, this island is rich in a kind of high-quality coffee beans, and now it is the territory controlled by Feld. At this time, he was waiting for Oran in person at the port, and when his men brought Oran, he showed unusual enthusiasm and gave him a hug. The reason for his doing this was simple. He made money. After Pirkro and Barak died in the battle to besiege Oran, the Big Hand Funeral House and the organ trafficking assassination group lost their leaders, and their headquarters were soon destroyed, and the cadres of all sizes were basically wiped out. The remaining few people could not make any waves and could only survive in the corner. Because they received the news in advance, Feld occupied a lot of things in a short period of time, and after operation, he made himself a philanthropist. With this reputation and the prosthesis that replaced the flesh and blood organs, Feld quickly transformed. After 2 years of transformation, he basically abandoned the low-level means of usury and had a faint reputation as an underground banker. With the establishment of credibility and reputation, many pirates and underground forces, and even many non-member countries are willing to deposit money with him for capital turnover. Feld's money even began to go on the road of reproduction. By the way, his banking system was built by Orlan. He won over a large number of officials in the world government. Among the pirates, Feld also got in touch with the Big Moem pirates. After Pirkro's death, prosthetic technology and organ cloning occupied the medical business, but the business of killer mercenaries was vacant, and finally the Big Moem pirates found an opportunity to enter. Feld believes that Orlan is the beginning of all this. People in Feld's business are generally superstitious. In his opinion, Orlan is his god of wealth. In addition, the other party has some cooperation with him, so he is naturally very enthusiastic. I have prepared a laboratory for you. It is better than those of MADS and has more funds. Just tell me what you need. As long as it is a matter of money, it is not a problem. The sale of prosthetics, the transportation share of seastone ships, the profits brought by the banking system, and the cloning and customization of organs for some people, each business has brought huge profits to do Feld. Each project is directly related to Orlan's technology, although according to the agreement, he has to give a large sum of money to Orlan, who has invested in technology. Especially for the business of prosthetics, Feld is actually just the agent, and he makes money from loans, to be precise. Those are low-interest loans, and the money earned is not much. It is mainly to stack buffs for himself and establish a charitable card. In the face of interests, someone suggested that Feld take some special actions against Orlan, but was scolded by Feld. Stupid. Do you think you are better at dealing with this situation than me? From scratch, Feld has become one of the giants of the underground world. He has his own abilities. There are two reasons why he abides by the agreement. First, Orlan obviously has a lot of technology in his hands. It is stupid to exhaust the pond to catch fish. It is better to further deepen the cooperation between the two sides. Second, Orlan killed Pircro. Although it is unknown how Orlan did it, this force value means that Orlan has the ability to overturn the table. Feld must have a brain full of water to give up a good cooperation and have to confront the other party. Apart from anything else, just based on the technology of the sea stone bottom, Bumit would be willing to become Orlan's new partner. Who is this child? Olin is still surrounded by those familiar figures. Kate, Frankenstein, and Blitz have all met Field, but the child following Orlan makes Feld a little puzzled. My daughter, Liliana. My biological daughter. Of course, is there any problem? No, she's cute, and looks a lot like you. They both have the same pink hair, which is a paternity test in Feld's eyes, and the reason is justified, but he has never heard of Orlan having a woman. The color of his pupils is a bit like Kate's, but it doesn't look like a mixed race of the fur tribe. Feld didn't dwell too much on who the child's mother was, which was not important in the sea, since it was the child of the god of wealth. Feld planned to give a meeting gift or something, but he didn't have any gifts suitable for children, so he finally took a gem from his cane. Little Anna, look at this, do you want it? If you want it, I'll give it to you. I want it. The sparkling gem quickly attracted Liliana's interest. If Feld just gave her the gem, there would be no big problem, but Feld suddenly had the idea of teasing the child. When Liliana was about to grab the gem, he suddenly stopped, looked at Liliana with a puzzled look, and laughed. Come on, I almost caught it. After several times in a row, Feld wanted to do it again, but Oran had already realized the problem. Wait. This time it's not a training. It's okay, it's just a little thing, it's not worth much. Feld didn't take Oran's words seriously. After all, he was just teasing the child, but the next time, he felt a strange force coming from the front of his arm, and then the world spun and his head was dizzy. Dad, I got it. Liliana held the gem in her hand to show off her achievements to Oran, not realizing what she had just done. Kate would practice with Liliana like this every day to train her reaction. Feld did the same thing as Kate, but he didn't have Kate's skills. In the end, he experienced the shoulder throw from Liliana, who misunderstood the game mode. Feld, are you okay? I'm fine, but how old is your daughter? 3 years old. Are you sure she's 3 years old? Chapter 57. If Charlotte Lingling had exercised well. You are listening at NovelFull.audio. Sidilir Liliana, 3 years old at the time, was 1.1 meters tall and had not yet shown a body shape that was too different from that of an ordinary person. This was normal in the sea. After all, it was not yet time for formal development. However, recently Orlan had discovered that Liliana's body growth rate had begun to accelerate and her shoes had to be replaced every half a month. In terms of body shape, she was not as round as Charlotte Lingling when she was a child. A more reasonable exercise method made her slimmer, but both muscle and bone density had surpassed the concept of ordinary people. If Charlotte Lingling was a little chubby when she was a child, then Liliana is now pure and strong. Although Feld is several times taller than her, it doesn't make any sense. The original Charlotte Lingling became crazy due to an attack of bulimia at the age of 5, and eventually caused great destruction in Elbaf, the legendary old pirate of the giant clan. Waterfallbeard Yoru, one of the previous captains of the giant pirates, wanted to kill Lin Lin at that time. After all, she had been regarded as an evil god, but Charlotte Lingling, who was only 5 years old, threw her down, and eventually caused the overaged Aurora to be seriously injured and died, although she was 2 years older than Liliana at that time. Charlotte Lingling had not undergone any training and was eating and drinking every day. Even if Yoru's strength was not as good as before due to her age, her own weight was still there. It was not a big deal for Feld to be thrown down like this. If it was spread out in the future, it would add a mythical aura to himself. As long as he didn't mention it, no one would know how old the other party was when he started the fight. Feld's head is still dizzy now. Don't mention him, even Feld's men are confused now. I say, what should we do now? What should we do? The boss is not angry. Do you still want to make trouble? It's just a matter of letting your niece fall. It's not a big deal. The boss is still quite strong. Feld didn't signal them to do anything. In addition, his boss called the other party brother at the beginning. This kind of thing should be considered a family matter, at least they think so. Sorry, uncle, I thought you wanted to play that game with me. Liliana also realized that she had hit the wrong person. This was not the way Kate usually practiced with her. 3 years old is not an age of knowing nothing. Because of their purer nature, they are even more sensitive to emotions than adults, and have their own judgment on right and wrong. Liliana is a clone, so she developed and grew up even earlier. If you meet a child of about the same age, but who is extremely willful and annoying, it is likely that his family has problems. The growing environment has shaped the idea that you can get everything as long as you are willful, which led to the final result. In theory, the character of the clone will be close to the original body, or have similar habits to the original body. Charlotte Lingling's nature is still good, but she can't control her own power, and there is no suitable person to help her guide her power. If the kingdom where she was born had a higher vision, in this sea where personal force can change the world, Charlotte Lingling would be the best helper for that kingdom to become strong. Orlan is guiding Liliana's growth. He doesn't want to raise a problem child who will cause trouble for him in the future. It's okay, it's okay. I was careless. Otherwise. Again. Ahem, Anna, I have something to talk to your father. So, I will play with you when I have time in the future. Feld originally wanted to be tough, and summed it up that he was careless and didn't dodge, but Liliana's thinking is very simple now, and she doesn't have any intrigue. She instinctively feels that Feld is serious, and she immediately wants to play with him again. He was careless last time, so this time he already knows the rules, and even if he is thrown out again, he is reasonable. Looking at Liliana with shining eyes, Feld braked in time and took back what he said. He didn't want to be thrown around by the little girl as a sandbag. Lely, go to our new home with Kate and the others first. I will find you later. Okay. Kate and Blitz took Liliana and followed Feld's men to the place arranged by Feld, while Frankenstein remained here. You have raised a good daughter. When she grows up, she will be your biggest help. Looking at Liliana's bouncing steps, Feld sighed sincerely. She could press him to the ground and rub him at the age of 3. If she was 13, she would probably be famous in the sea. Feld was mixed in the underground world and knew the importance of confidence. If he had someone who could rely on him, he could let go of his hands and feet in many things. There were many conflicts in the family, but relatively speaking, family members were more trustworthy than outsiders. Feld could feel that Liliana had a sense of dependence on Orlan. He thought that the value of this relationship in the future would never be low. Let's get down to business. You didn't just want to get Riley away, did you? Olin didn't answer Feld's question, but asked what Feld wanted to discuss. Haha, of course not. Our chance to make money has come again. Now we have a new business. If it develops smoothly, it will be an inexhaustible gold mine. Not long before MADS was asked to disband by the government, I received a new message about your prosthesis. The Navy is very interested in it. If it works well, it will be a long-term arms sales order. There has always been no shortage of wars on this sea, with pirates rampant and struggles between countries everywhere. The 4 seas are relatively peaceful, but the Grand Line is full of wars. In this case, arms naturally become a highly profitable industry. Navy? What do they mean? About the installation of prostheses for disabled soldiers, and I also want you to give them technical guidance. After all, it is the Navy, and it is impossible for them to buy things from us like ordinary customers, but now it is just an intention, and more issues need to be discussed. You were originally teaching surgical skills in this area, which is not a big problem. I know that you can make more than just those prostheses. Maybe you can take the opportunity to open the door to the arms business. Don't forget me when the time comes, just remember that the funds will flow from me. Feld has a clear understanding of his own position. He can't get involved in every business. Joining forces to kill Pircro is driven by interests, but there are some interests that he can't get. It's good enough to have a piece of the cake. It's slower than I thought. Is there any opportunity that prompted them to do this? Although the most basic civilian version is currently in circulation, the principle that technology can be upgraded is not complicated. The Navy's actions are much slower than Oran expected. You haven't read the newspaper recently? Look at this. The people who performed free surgery at the beginning have made a lot of contributions. Iron Arm Mitt was promoted to Colonel of the Navy headquarters. His life changed from a sheriff to a Navy. The reporter's level is not good. This title is not attractive at all. But Mitt. Did he go to the Navy? I don't know when he joined the Navy. Anyway, this kid made a name for himself with the hand you replaced for him. In short, this is not a bad thing. Chapter 58, The Iron-Armed Navy, The Hatched Egg. You are listening at NovelFull.audio. The Navy recruits new soldiers from all over the world every year. If the situation is special, it will even launch a larger-scale world conscription. In addition to promotions in the recruit camp, the Navy will also grant those who are specially recruited corresponding ranks according to their strength when the situation is special. In emergency situations, the rank of general is also included. After the end of the war on the top, Green Bull and Fujitora joined the Navy in this way. Mitt did not have this kind of strength. After replacing his new lungs and arms, he ushered in a new life, but the sheriff of the town already had new personnel, and the new sheriff did a good job, so after Mitt got familiar with his new body, he turned to join the Navy. The improvement brought to him by the prosthesis is undoubtedly significant. The nickname of Iron Arm is not a modifier, but a description of objective facts. Mitt's upper limit is certainly not as high as Garp's, but this arm has greatly improved the lower limit. He can have the hardness of steel without training, and he can resist bullets and slashes by raising his arm. If it were an ordinary person, it would not be so easy to make a qualitative change. Even if a person who cannot fight gets a prosthetic limb, the performance of fighting would be like waving a blunt weapon randomly, but Mitt was originally a sheriff. After getting used to the new arm, his upper limit was raised a lot. Hey, Mitt, are you maintaining your arm again? That at the G2 branch of the Navy, Mitt was sitting by the harbor of the base, holding his disassembled right arm between his legs and cleaning the dirt inside. There was also a toolbox on the left side of his body, which contained many strange tools. He made them specifically for dealing with his arm. It's unbelievable. I didn't expect your hand is really made of metal. The technology has developed to this point. I'm just lucky. I think it's worth it. Of course. You're going to be promoted to colonel. This is a 3-level jump. I paid for it with my life. That pirate is not easy to deal with. If it weren't for this arm, I'm afraid I would be the one who died. Compared to the arm that was just installed 2 years ago, Mitt's prosthesis has become much more damaged. The bionic skin on the outside has basically fallen off, revealing the metal bones inside. There are several deep knife marks on the metal humerus, each of which is fatal. It's not that Orlan's work is of poor quality, but that Mitt used it incorrectly. The arm was originally a civilian version. Considering how to better integrate into society, under the cover of the bionic skin, the arm is no different from the real one, but Mitt used it in battle, blocking bullets and fighting swords. Mitt himself is not domineering, so the outer bionic skin will naturally fall off over time, and many edges and corners inside will be exposed. This will increase the power of the fist to a certain extent, but also increase the difficulty of maintenance. Don't just stand there, help me support it. It's quite troublesome to replace these parts. As the first prosthetic user on the sea, Orlan gave him a set of parts for replacement after damage. Now those parts are almost used up. If they break down again, Mit will have to find a way to contact Feld or Orlan to buy them again. By the way, the transfer order from the headquarters requires you to prepare to go to the headquarters to accept the awarding ceremony, my Colonel Mit. He was not the only one who was awarded the medal. Mit just happened to encounter the collective awarding of the Navy. Those who were promoted during this period would receive the medal together with the recruits. At the same time, Feld also explained the Navy's ideas to Orlan. Orlan had no objection to this. Military sales were already in his plan, and the Navy was one of his largest customer groups. Moreover, the composition of the Navy is very complicated. Although it is a subordinate organization of the world government, there are still many Navy members who have their own ideas. That part is worth winning over. The details have not been finalized yet and need to be discussed slowly. After Feld personally brought Oran to his residence, he turned back to busy himself with his own affairs. Dad. As soon as he opened the door, Oran felt a huge impact in his arms. Feld prepared a very impressive house for Oran, and when Liliana saw Oran enter the door, she directly climbed over the fence on the second floor and jumped into Oran's arms. If Oran's body had not changed after coming to this sea and had been exercising, he might not have been able to withstand this force. Liliana's language system is still developing, but her body is already quite mature. Ordinary children can run at the age of 3, but Liliana can already do some more difficult movements at the age of 3, including but not limited to rock climbing, pull-ups, boxing, over-the-shoulder throws and the like, and like Blitz at the beginning, they were all influenced by Kate to a certain extent and stained with some cat habits. How is it? Do you like it here? I like it. It's bigger here than on the ship. Liliana raised her hand and drew a big circle, expressing her meaning with body language, and a bang was heard from the second floor, and countless transparent powders were scattered all over the room. Kate was holding a few glass ball-like fruits in her hand and was sprinkling the pollen in them bit by bit. Olan, I've checked everything. There's nothing strange. Those glass balls are searchlight fruits, which, like honey fruits, are specialties of the Valoran continent, but the function of the searchlight fruit is to search. Where its pollen falls will expose invisible things. With the special glasses developed by Orlan, it can see if there are hidden telephone bugs or other electronic devices in the room. It is a good thing to prevent eavesdropping. Not bad. Choose a room and have a good rest. We will be busy in a few days. After relaxing his body, Orlan sat casually on the sofa and said to the people beside him. He is not a research madman like Vegapunk. Although he likes to study new things, he will not put pressure on himself when he should relax, but at this time, Frankenstein found something strange. Father. The egg moved. The egg in the temporary incubator shook a few times, and even a few cracks appeared on the surface, as if some creature was about to drill out. Olan, what is in this egg? Can you tell me now? Kate and the others didn't know what kind of egg this was. Orlan has always been a riddle man and never gave an answer on the ship, as if he had left a surprise. Dragon egg. Dragon? Are there really dragons in this world? Of course, and there are many in unknown corners. This is an elemental dragon egg. I traded with the 10th princess of Ixtal, Lily. Come and see the process of the birth of life. This is the most wonderful process in the world. Crack, the eggshell gradually broke, and a head like a rock also poked out of the eggshell. Chapter 59, Yalong and his playmates. You are listening at novelfull.audio. A mountain dragon of earth attribute. Not bad. The moment it came into contact with the air, the moist liquid on the surface of the dragon's body evaporated quickly, leaving behind scales that looked like rocks. The 4 elements of wind, water, earth, and fire are the basic attributes of elemental dragons. As a species of dragon, they will master the elemental power of the corresponding attributes from the moment they are born. The eyes have not yet opened, but this dragon has already begun to bite its eggshell along the hole it has opened. It can be said that the elemental dragon is full of treasures, and even the eggshell contains powerful power. Eating the eggshell is the first step in the growth of the elemental dragon. Is this a dragon? To be precise, it is a dragon, but the dragons in Runland also have unique forelimbs. The dragon swallowed the eggshell very quickly. It didn't take long for it to eat a big hole in it, and half of its body had already drilled out. At this time, Orlan activated the hand armor part of the exoskeleton and stroked the dragon's back. At first, it had some instinctive resistance, but soon it got used to this rhythm. The touch of metal was closer to the claws of the mountain dragon, which made the young dragon feel more at ease. Lily, wait a little longer. It is still very sensitive to the outside world. You have to wait until it opens its eyes before touching it. After stopping Liliana from wanting to touch the young dragon, Oran took out a booklet from his body with his other hand and handed it to Liliana. Now, you can look for the things recorded on it. You will need them later. Sister Fran, help me. Liliana's current literacy rate is very low. She can't recognize other phrases except stone and sulfur. In the end, Frankenstein took her to find materials together. Olin, can you still raise dragons? Kate knew that Oran could fight and research, and seemed to have experience in raising children. Oran's reason for this was that he opened an orphanage in Piltover, but from the current situation, Oran seemed to have some understanding of various creatures. The first time, this is just the experience of our predecessors, and now it seems quite useful. The dragons once fought side by side with humans in the ancient times of Valoran, but after the war between Shurima and the Void, this connection disappeared. Only in the special land of Ixtar, a large number of dragons still live, let alone pure-blooded dragons. As one of the earliest countries to join the Shurima Empire, Ixtar avoided several major crises in the future by almost closing the country to the outside world. Leaving the ancient treasures to this day, it is very difficult to contact Ixtar. In their traditional concept, contact with foreigners will bring hatred, war and disease, destroying what the dynasty has guarded for hundreds of years. So Ixtar refuses to contact the outside world, but there is an exception in the ruling family of Ixtar. Kiana. She has 9 sisters and is the last in the family's succession, but she is unwilling to do so. At that time, Piltover's explorers and miners were developing the jungle on the border. Kiana disagreed with her parents' avoidance strategy and believed that they should kill all those people, take back those lands, and make outsiders afraid of this place. It was also at this time that Orlan had his first contact with Kiana. Your Highness, sometimes you don't have to overturn all traditions. Temporary compliance can make everything go more smoothly. Foreigner, what are you talking about? Your elemental talent is extremely powerful, which is enough to win the respect and following of elementalists, but it is not enough to become the queen, and I can help you get more support. You don't need to fight and kill, I can stop Piltover's exploration here. For you, you can repel all invaders and take back the land without bloodshed. Piltover's actions are for profit, and Orlan holds a lot of interests in his hands, so to a certain extent, he can change some of the ideas of the Piltover Council. Becoming the queen of the entire Ixtal has always been Kiana's goal, so she was moved by Orlan's proposal. What do you want, stranger? Trade, technology for materials. I need some special resources. The quantity is not large, so it should be easy for you. I can research more suitable technology based on your resources. Don't you think things from hundreds of years ago are too backward? These technologies are the achievements that you, Your Highness, have brought to the country. At the same time, I want a dragon egg. Deal. Ixtal has many ancient secrets, and Kiana has a certain power, excellent talent and ambition. For the position of queen, she doesn't mind using some special means to make her competitors disappear. There is no reason for her to refuse such a condition to increase her political capital, but getting the dragon egg is getting the dragon egg, but it is not easy to hatch it. After so long, this egg was hatched in the new world. Dad, I'm back. Liliana also came back here holding a large wooden barrel, which was made of sulfur, soil and gravel mixed with water and honey fruits. Roar. At this time, the eggshell was eaten up completely, and the young dragon had opened its eyes. Its earthy yellow pupils were very bright, and it had the characteristics of an egg-laying animal, and it regarded the first moving thing it saw as a relative. For mountain dragons, the thing in Liliana's hand should be called mud pie, which is the favorite thing of this dragon species. Although they look like they are made of hard rocks, they are the most gentle in their hearts and are the dragon species that have ever gotten along best with humans. Huh, stop it, it's itchy. The young dragon stretched out its tongue to lick Liliana's hands and cheeks, licking the mud off them. Rocks and mud are in the diet of mountain dragons, and even the tongues of newly born young dragons are very rough. However, Liliana didn't feel this. At this time, she had slightly shown the talent of Charlotte Lingling's iron balloon. Also in the cub stage of different races, one person and one dragon quickly became familiar with each other and played freely in the living room. Very good, now Lely has a suitable playmate. Due to her physical condition, people of the same age can't get along well with Liliana, at least not before she learns to control her strength, otherwise Liliana will be excited and her playmate will die if she doesn't pay attention, not to mention ordinary people. Even the giants can't stand this. Mountain dragons have the strongest defense, and this physique just matches with Liliana and grows together. But the growth rate of the dragon species may not be able to keep up with Lely, so we have to think of a way. While Oran was thinking about whether to use external force to speed up the development of the young dragon, Kate handed Oran a new notebook. By the way, Oran, Feld sent you a new fruit illustration book, which is more complete than the original one. The type of that bunch of grapes has been figured out, it is the natural mercury fruit. Chapter 60 You'd better stay away from my mom. You are listening at NovelFull.audio. The mercury fruit is a natural devil fruit that turns into a mercury man when eaten. You're lucky, Kate, do you want to eat it? The natural element is a huge boost to your strength. Just relying on elementalization, natural ability users can become untouchable opponents for most people. If Kate wants this ability, he has no problem with it. After all, this is not his own goal. No, I don't think that fruit is suitable for me. It's a gut feeling. Forget it, I'll give it to you when there is a more suitable fruit, or I can upgrade my heart. This fruit comes just in time. I just have a new project to implement. Olin has always wanted to start new research on the natural system, but there is no sample. Feld tried his best to get only a few superhuman and animal systems. The research object of the natural system has always been Caesar. Although some progress has been made, it is not enough. Liliana is a hexagonal warrior. Oran has no idea of letting her eat natural fruits. Now that Kate's instinct has rejected this fruit, it is a new experiment. Object. Riley. Control yourself. In the past, Liliana's companions were Oran, Kate, Frankenstein, and Blitzcrank. No matter who they were, they took care of the children with a teaching mentality. This is true even for Frankenstein, who is also in the growth stage, but this young dragon is different. It is ignorant and exploring the world. For dragons, fighting is the most common way. But when the young dragon's physical strength is combined with Liliana's talent, this fight turns into tearing down the family. The little earth dragon is also a little confused now. The power in this creature that looks different from him seems to be a bit exaggerated. Less than an hour after it was born, it has already tasted the first failure of dragon life, and its limbs are limp. On to the ground. The elemental dragons in the Valoran worldview have independent forelimbs, not the wyvern type whose forelimbs and wings are fused. Oran had never thought about this before coming into contact with information about dragons. He could only it's just that different worlds have different perspectives. The elemental dragons are not as smart as the emperor dragons. After all, they are only subspecies, but they are not beasts in the traditional sense. As the few people they met in the early stages of breaking out of the shell, the young dragons are very affectionate to them. After Liliana stopped, there was no intention to continue the fight. It seemed that it had spent a lot of energy. The young dragon crawled directly towards the mud pie that Liliana had made before and began to eat the earth and rocks here. Dad, I'm hungry. Normally, this time is not meal time. Oran felt that Liliana saw the baby dragon eating happily, so she also wanted to eat, but it didn't matter. Anyway, Liliana's food intake since weaning was the biggest one in their group, not to mention the normal 3 meals a day. Even 5 meals a day like Luffy would be fine. Go wash your hands and have some snacks first. Dinner will have to wait. Okay. Little guy, your name will be Terra. I hope that in this new world, you can become a legendary dragon like him and become the giant rock dragon god of this area. Terra, the giant rock dragon god, is a legendary dragon born in the realm of dragons in the world of Valoran. Of course, as a pure-blooded dragon, his ability is much stronger than that of the mountain dragon. This is just an expectation for the future. That's all. Theoretically, it is the only mountain dragon in the world, so there is no problem in naming it here. Roar. Seemingly satisfied with the name, Terra raised her head and nuzzled Oran, then continued to feast on the mud pie, while Oran looked through the information that Kiana had given her. Earth element dragons eat a wide range of food, including meat, plants, rocks and soil. Earth element dragons can regularly eat minerals and special energy stones in their infancy. The energy emitted from the core of Hex can be used to replenish energy. I don't know if sea floor stone is a rare mineral. Maybe I can try it. Olin, I think we need to hire some cooks. The food prepared by Felder is enough for 3 days at most. The desserts are only enough for today, and they will probably be gone tomorrow. Kate, who arrived at the residence in advance, had already checked the supplies in the room and was reporting the situation to Oran bit by bit. Didn't Felder arrange a chef? It's arranged, but it's just one person, and she's a woman. I think leaving it all to her may lead to death from overwork. Without Liliana, Feld's arrangement would be normal, but with her the situation would be different. Oran and the others can handle it, but they are limited to edible home-cooked meals. No one is proficient in this matter. You can go to the towns on the island to recruit a few people tomorrow, and just deal with them today. Well, I understand. Then Oran and Blitz began to arrange defensive devices around them to guard against some special things. That night, Liliana had fun with Terra. For the first time, she met a playmate who was also in childhood and could withstand her tossing. After getting tired of playing, she slept directly on the carpet in the living room. At the same time, in Ionia, it was still night here. In front of a majestic house, a strong man's eyes were full of tenderness. Love you, Mom, see you tomorrow. After gently repeating the words he had said countless times to the door, Seti walked towards his house not far away. Set's mother didn't want Set to get involved in black boxing, but Set was passionate about it. He felt that he was born for this, which brought him fame, fortune and money. While enjoying fighting in the underground boxing ring, he also saved his mother from having to work hard for a living, but sometimes, he always felt unusually irritable because he saw that face again. Sidilir. Why are you here again? In the past, you only appeared once every 6 months at most. My mother told me that you have appeared 3 times this month. Are you going too far? I have explained to you that this is not something I can control. Your mother is a Vastaya and has a certain talent in the spiritual field, so this kind of thing will happen. I don't want to hear this excuse. The fox asked me to help you deliver the letter and I did. You guys are still not done. Seti. Why are you arguing with someone? Hey, Oran, are you here again? What a coincidence, I have already rested. Seti, why are you bullying Oran again? That the door opened, and Seti's mother came out after hearing the noise outside the house, and then looked at Seti with a strange look. No, Mom, we are good brothers, how could I bully him, right? That the fierceness on his face disappeared in an instant. Seti put his arm around Oran's shoulders to prove to his mother that what he said was true, and signaled Oran to cooperate with him. That's right, ma'am. We were just joking. Really? You're just like kids. Have fun. I won't bother you. Huh, you seem to have grown a lot taller. Never mind. What do you want to do this time? Seti breathed a sigh of relief when he saw his mother return to the room. If he was afraid of anything now, it was that his mother would find out what he was doing on weekdays. Orlan would cover up for him and let his mother think that Seti had been working for Orlan's charity in Ionia. In addition, his mother inexplicably liked to chat with Orlan, so Seti chose to accept it reluctantly. However, Orlan's appearance frequency increased greatly during this period due to the change in the speed of time, which made Seti a little irritable. You're a little too worried. Oh, not at all. I don't even think it's enough. I'll smash anything that threatens my mother's safety to pieces. Said he wanted to break something to prove that what he said was true, but looking at the direction of his mother's house, he restrained his thoughts and finally could only punch the air helplessly. I haven't met you before. I really have something to find you. I'm a little interested in your use of the bombing punch now. So, I plan to make an exchange with you. What do you think of this? Orlan stretched out his palm in front of Seti. As Orlan clenched his fist, the rich ink color completely covered the original color of Orlan's skin. Exchange breath, use this domineering use for your heroic use, how about it? P.S. I just noticed that the elemental dragons in the LOL worldview all have 4 legs and independent wings. The previous description has been modified.